welcome to 23 Degrees Sideways. We're driving around here today just a little bit. We're going to take a look at I want to talk just a little bit more about the internet, the internet culture. I came at things from I guess maybe it's a different generation. Maybe that's really what's going on. I'm Generation X. The fact that Generation X... Ooh, don't breathe the coffee, drink the coffee. The fact that Generation X is now getting old is really fucking disturbing to me. Like, this is a really rough one, okay? This is... Whoa. And yes... Generation X in particular has a dirty mouth. That's part of us. But whoa, getting old. But Generation X is a lot of what drove the early internet revolution and the .coms and stuff. You know, we're kind of in a borderline. There was the tail end of Generation X into Generation Y, and I really, really think that this is one of the defining differences of the generations. But in a way, it's not. Generation X is the last generation that grew up without the internet being plugged in as a child. Now, I know people who are at the tail end of Generation X who were online in high school, and I don't mean online like a TRS-80 Coco 2 with a BBS connection, which I had off and on throughout part of my high school years. And that could occupy an hour or two of your week, maybe 5 trying to get it to work. I'm talking about what happened in the 90s. I'll give you an example, all right? The tail end of Generation X, a girl who I'm very, very familiar with, was coloring magazines, censoring magazines, cutting markers on women's arms and necks and stuff so that they could be sent to the troops in the Gulf War. That would be me in the Gulf War. Okay, so here it is, 1990 to 93, and I'm dealing with, these are people who are in middle school. Now, the internet revolution comes out, they're in high school and they're online 24/7 at that point. This is a point where people are starting to come up with fancy ways to get online from school, right? The computer lab starts to have lines in it. It's not quite at the point like, say, 1999, where I'm running around with a backpack modem on a handspring visor. I guess that was 2000. Using that to stay connected to IRC while I'm driving down Highway 101. This actually, this is a thing. The traffic jams on 101, I had a keyboard taped to my steering wheel because whatever. But at that point, I'm turning 30, right? These are people who are just now getting out of high school. I think there's a generational shift. There's a change in here. But it's still, in a lot of ways, culturally, it's still Gen X, all right? We haven't gone to social justice yet. We haven't gone to whiner culture yet. There's a certain amount of that. I actually really want to push on the idea that some of the early adopters of geek fandom, I'm specifically talking about girls here, were professionally broken, okay? And I know that's, I'm adjusting the camera. I know that's like a really bad thing to say, but there were some people for whom not all groupies are healthy, and there was a certain groupie movement going on. And I think that really had a lot to do with how the culture grew with the internet. It did not start out as a functional space. The whole point of IRC and the news groups, once they started hitting the getting popular, hitting the world, a lot of what happened was that the people who were very high functioning in life weren't so much involved in those. There was a lot of brokenness by design. It's kind of funny. But also off topic. Generation X and the freedom aspects, the liberty aspects, the think for yourself aspects of the latchkey kid generation, that was still a big deal. Okay, that was a really big deal, and that was still a big deal with the kids who were born in the late 70s, with the kids who were born even in the early 80s. So even after Generation Y technically started, you were still dealing with, parents who were late boomers, latchkey kid generation extended. Okay, we didn't really have the parents driving kids to work and no one can do anything for a little bit longer. So Generation X and that freedom mentality is what pushed the early internet. The whole idea of information wants to be free. And that's really important. That's what we lost. I'm not sure how we lost it. I'm not sure when we lost it. I know that we did lose it, and that it really, really sucks. And, to me, it's very important that we've gone from information wants to be free to information must be controlled for your own good. And this is probably the one single most dangerous and important and unrecognized change in internet culture that we've had over the past, decade and a half. It's a really big deal. And if you have any way to influence us, even just your basic behavior, remember, information wants to be free. Maybe it should be a hashtag, right? Stay sideways.